performer must tap on the piano and click the tongue when it's repeated. So the first time you play it, all these little X's, you'll tap on the piano, and when you play it the second time around, you're supposed to click your tongue, and you're supposed to continue doing that as the G section goes on after the repeat. The alternation between playing and tapping the piano and clicking the tongue creates an interesting texture and tone. There are X's throughout the music, starting in measure 9, and these X's indicate that the performer can, but is not required, to stop. Bolcom suggests in the preface that this not only enhances the piece by giving it a variety of sounds and textures, but it also helps the performer keep the rhythm in time. The X's are most prominent in the B section, and they come on the downbeat of every other measure. The stomping appears again in the I section and in the final appearance of the C section. Another interesting instruction comes right at the end of the piece in what has been classified as an outro. The performer is instructed to either whistle or play the indicated notes. Despite the fact that the instructions say to do either one or the other, the most common way for it to be performed is by whistling and playing at the same time. The range and dynamics are very, very wide. You have anything from a fortissimo and a pianissimo. So the range of sound that you can use as a performer is really, really quite large. D minor is felt heavily in the H section. There's significant use of the minor 1 chord in the bass, and then you also have these D octaves. The meter during most of the piece is a simple meter, usually 2/4. There are 2 instances where the meter will change to 1/8 to give the performer a small 8th note rest before a new section begins. This happens in measures 25 as well as measure 158. The meter changes again to 3/4 this time, and this happens in measure 61 and measure 107. There's also one measure where the meter is in 5/16, which is quite an odd meter, but it's only for one measure. One of the impressive aspects of Bolcom's compositions is that these changes in meter are quite subtle, and the listener is not likely to know that they happened until they looked at the score. The Serpent's Kiss is the most popular of the rags from the Garden of Eden. There is a version of it for 2 pianos, which is the most popular version. The screencast explored the version that is for the solo piano. Many have attributed its success to the fact that while it is different and draws on 20th century ideas, it doesn't stray so far off the beaten path that the listener feels too overwhelmed by what they're hearing. It's a beautiful piece with wild rhythms that make you want to move your body, and the mood shifts to keep the listener drawn in, going from minor to major and back to minor again. The repetition of certain themes draws the listener back to what they are comfortable and familiar with, so as not to go too far out of their comfort zone.